Hi, I'm Kelly Kearney with Starry Constellation Magazine, and with me today to talk about her new single that's out today and her upcoming album. Welcome, folk artist and visual storyteller Meredith Adelaide. Thanks so much for talking with me today, Meredith.
Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. I love folk music, actually. It's one of my favorites. And as a folk artist, your work kind of beautifully blends music and storytelling.
Mm.
Who are some of the artists that perhaps inspired you growing up to want to make you want to be an artist today?
Absolutely. It's a mix actually of music artists and photographers. I would say Joni Mitchell is a huge, obvious
Oh,
inspiration, the way that
yes.
she can distill like the complexities of life into such simple words that just hit incredible. I really appreciate the craftsmanship of that. And there's a photographer I really love whose name is Sally Mahon. She took photos of her family and has is just quite introspective. She has a book called Hold On, and she's coming out with a new book about being an artist. And it's all artists that are artists are inspiring to me, but it's specifically the ones that really share their true humanity and the things that they're struggling with the goal of growth.
Yeah. I got right away that you're very much a visual storyteller as well as a music storyteller. And we'll get to that because you did some directing. We'll get to that.
Ooh.
But your newest single out today, fans, check it out. What Do I Know? It's titled, which I absolutely loved. It felt deeply personal and revealing about the lyrics kind of felt like two parts of you kind of at war a little bit. Talk a little bit about what inspired that track.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for that reflection. It's nice to hear how it lands. Yeah, so this whole process, the song's on an album coming out next month, and the whole process of making that album was me telling myself the truth and how difficult that has been, and how much I've been wanting to listen to other people's ideas about who I am and what I should do. So this song, What Do I Know, is really about like, I don't know anything, dude. Like, I know so much actually about myself and how I operate and how I perceive things. And I've been able to shift the way that I am and the way that I respond to things, from reaction to responding. I've gone through such growth since I was a teenager, and I wanted to claim a lot of versions of me. And I would expand this actually from two parts of me talking to each other into multiple parts of me speaking to us. And I just recently serendipitously came upon this lens of self, like witnessing self, called internal family systems. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
No, I'm not.
So there's a book called No Bad Parts. And I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name of the author. I should have the book here right now. But IFS, Internal Family Systems, posits that, when we're in an argument or something and like something takes over you and you're saying things that you don't necessarily, that are not like in line with your integrity, but you're
Right.
watching yourself do it and you can't help but do it. So he posits that that version of you has come in to take over because they sense a threat and they're there to protect you. And the threat happened a long time ago, and that's when they were created. So in any sort of circumstance where this happens again, it will come out and protect you. And the goal of understanding this is to give this protector love, and not only love, but let them know that, hey, I'm in my 30s now and I've got this. Sometimes they don't even, when you talk to them internally, sometimes they don't even know how old you are because they're most likely children themselves.
Yes, like the inner child syndrome.
Exactly. So yeah, so this puts different like people, parts of you in you and around you, and the pureness of yourself, the fully integrous, aligned like thoughts, words, actions self is our nature. but we have all these protectors and firefighters and all these terms that he's, related to all of this, studying different people. But this song really, I didn't even know about this concept before I wrote the song, but I was just trying to name all of the versions of me that I feel like I was at the time and had at the time. So, like I wanted to just claim, like, yeah, I talk to myself. I walk around talking to myself. I'm weird. I'll do it outside. I'm really shy and I shut down. I have trauma. Like I'm mean. And when I'm mean, I'm actually crying for help and crying for connection. That's actually the one line that repeats throughout the whole song is the
Yeah,
mean one that's crying for help because there's so much language out here being like, they're an asshole and like writing people off. But that's not loving. Like you can have
right.
boundaries and not want to interact with people, but if we're rejecting those people out of us, then of course we're rejecting those versions inside of us too. And that's where the actual work is. And that's how we actually change the world is what's in here first. So I wanted to be honest with
Be
myself.
honest. And a lot of it felt like also you talked about how you don't know everything. And some of it felt like you said, multiple versions of yourself, or one that feels like they do know everything, and one that's filled with self doubt.
Mhm.
As an artist, is overcoming self doubt a driving force when it comes to turning an idea into a song?
Interesting. Is overcoming self-doubt a driving force in turning an idea into a song? Overcoming self-doubt. What do you mean by overcoming? Like not letting it stop me?
Yes, like not letting it stop you, not letting it
Yeah.
feed into your art, making it so you maybe don't take the risks that maybe you would if you had more. I don't want to say
Mm,
bravery, but more. Just if you didn't listen to that voice as much and you took more risks. Do
yeah.
you feel like as an artist, self doubt is something that's always with you, and you have to kind of leapfrog over it and just go for
Yes.
it?
Yes, I would say that it is ever present and comes in different forms. Like the book by Stephen Pressfield, The War of Art, how capital R resistance is will always be there. And the closer we get to something, the more resistance we have. Like the closer we get to finishing something, the more resistance we will feel. I would
Sure.
say that it is a true energetic experience. And it's not that I'm trying to overcome it. It's more just like I've been learning that instead of letting it like stop me, I can actually learn to have it push me forward and do like use the energy into actually doing what I need to do and focusing on what the message is. So yeah, it's a
Yeah,
huge
that's a great
force.
idea. Yeah, and it is a good force. I feel like once you get over self doubt a little bit, it gives you a little bit more confidence or willingness to take risks. I mean, you have what's the worst that can happen, what's the best that can happen. People go through that in their mind all the time. And as an artist, every risk, I think, as an artist, produces, even if the risk fails, it still produces an outcome that is your piece of work. So I think that's really important for artists to kind of tap into what pushes them and maybe what pulls them back a little bit and how they use that as inspiration. The single will be featured on your new album, which is coming out next month, which is called To Believe I'm the Sun. It's an interesting title. Set to come out soon. What sort of themes can fans expect the album to touch on, and where did that title come from?
So the themes, thank you for all of that, by the way.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. Uh, the themes are self-realization, self-empowerment, self-awareness. There's a lot of like dissociation on the album that I didn't quite realize until after the whole thing was made. There's so much introspection and honesty and earnestness about my experience of telling myself the truth about who I was and where I was at the time. And the album the album's called To Believe I'm the Sun because as I mentioned earlier, I've been, looking to other people to tell me who I am and tell me where to be and what to do and how to do it and what to say, how to look. And once I just shut all of that out, gave myself permission to shut it out, which was scary. And
Sure.
I didn't realize that that was such a weight. But once I let myself, I'm like, I'm alone in my house. I'm just gonna give myself this space for just a second, feel what it feels like. And once I really set up that space, it was so clean and like light. And one of my songs on the album is called One Foot Out, and it's really about dissociation and like relationship, like romantic relationship, and how, it is some of the hardest like yoga to have because it really makes you confront everything
Yeah,
in
sure.
ways that you're maybe not quite wanting to. And I kept wanting to run, and the relationship was fine. And I'm like, what is this? And the line is, he's got the knack to believe I'm the sun. And to have someone else's like love and support and true belief that I am my own biggest star, that lights up the entire planet, that grows its every like nutrients and everything, all the animals and stuff. To believe that I am that is what I've had to put on and be for myself in order to grow this story, grow this art project, give myself this space. Like, I guess I need a whole planetary system for myself to release this thing. So I'm claiming, I mean, when people are buying merch, I say, like, Kelly, you are the sun. Like, everyone can claim that. There can
Everybody
be
can claim that.
millions and billions of suns.
That's what you're talking about is some really intense, as an artist, some really intense growth, but as a human, really intense growth, maturity, and understanding who you are and claiming that. I think that's probably something that around, like you were talking about your age, around that time when you kind of shed off the thing, the cupboard that we hide ourselves in of youth, and trying to fit in. And then you're just kind of like at 30 or however your age is, this is me, and I'm like I'm unapologetically me, and let's try to figure out this life as me and
Yeah.
create from this person instead of trying to cover up. There's a lot of truth in that, and a lot of probably uncomfortable truths that I think this album touches on. That I'm really interested to
Hmm.
listen to the whole thing.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll send it to you. I'd love for you
Oh
to hear
yeah,
the
that's
whole thing.
great.
Yeah.
So we're talking about truths. Folk music has like this deep roots in storytelling and tradition. How do you keep that sense of history? We talked about Joni Mitchell alive in your work while still making it feel modern. Do you find yourself
Mhm.
diving into those kind of familiar sounds and then forcing your art to pull back from it?
Interesting question. So I actually spend most of my time not listening to music.
Hmm. Wow.
The reason why I like Joni Mitchell, the reason why I found out about her was the jazz choir I was in high school sang Both Sides Now. And then I heard it later and fell in love with it. But I don't deep dive into other artists' work, especially with this first solo album thing. I wanted to, it's inevitable that I'm like influenced by people. Of course, I've heard
Sure.
thousands and millions of songs, but I'm not a reference person. I cannot go into a session of any kind and be like, let's make something like that. It's
Mhm.
repulsive to me. I'm like, let's make a space. Let's see how we're feeling right now, and let's pull out. And then let's see what we have, and then let's put it together. And then that's what I did for all these songs with myself, by myself, and my producer. I think we just intuited, like he's got an expansive wealth of knowledge. I don't know if he was referencing anything in particular, but it felt like it was truly within a space that we co-created. It was a like a 5-day process of recording all of the songs. I slept on the couch, he was subletting, and it was a very holistic, like we don't even remember recording a lot of this stuff because it was just so rapid, even though it felt also very slow. Um, but I guess, yeah, it's inevitable that we're influenced by things and are referencing things. Yet I am not pointing particularities or pulling particularities from other artists. that I know about. I'm sure people are like, oh, that sounds like this, that sounds like that, and that's fine. That's great.
Right.
I love that. Because I love just exploring or discovering new music.
Well, it
Like,
feels a little bit like when you're talking about your process, almost like a mosaic, little tiny scattered pieces of you and ideas, and then placing them together in the way that fits correctly for your puzzle at that moment. And that's really interesting. Your songwriting process, is it something that you start with an idea with music first or lyrics first?
I think it is also a mosaic of sorts. I constantly am writing lyric ideas down in my notes or on papers or now in like this like tablet thing. Then I'll do like voice memos of melody ideas randomly. And then I'll sit down and just start playing guitar for fun, coming up with some chords that sound good. And somehow things will just together. And then it's like an unpeeling process or like an excavation. And sometimes, of course, which I'm sure you've heard about, that it feels like a portal just opens up above
Mm-hmm.
and a song just drops in entirely. And then suddenly, like, I'm just responsible for this song. Uh, it's really a mix, I guess. But I try a lot of, different words or vowel shapes over melodies and um, I also want to like surprise myself as I'm writing, so that plays a huge role in it. And yeah, it's a mix.
And it is a little bit like a mosaic, an artist, I feel like. And when I was listening to that song, sure, I was like, oh, this kind of reminds me, maybe lyrically a little of Ani DeFranco, who I'm a big fan of. But then I was like, oh no, it's got its own kind of vibe to it, a truth to it that was familiar to me, a truth to it that was familiar, but maybe a sound that was different. I really enjoyed the single, and your other three singles I really liked as well. And your producer, who you were just talking about, Kushi, did what I do know. Was he a hands-on producer when it comes to the production side of music, or did he kind of give you the freedom to bring something to the table and he kind of worked with that?
So Kushi is incredible. Let's see, how much can I say? I played a song. We were part of a music collective together that is no longer around, but we did a show and tell of all the artists that were there. And I played my song Guard Dog, which is one of the ones that is out right now.
That's my
And
favorite.
oh, thank you. Thank you so
Yeah, I
much.
love it. I loved
That's
it.
the one that came through Portal.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, I like that one a lot.
Thank you. Um, and he came up to me and he was like, I have to record that song. And so we recorded that one first, and then he approached me about finishing, like doing a whole album. And what he said was, I want to make room for your soul. And I've never heard any producer, like I've never been given that much space. So, like I mentioned, we did the rest of the album in those 5 days, and
Yeah.
we didn't record to a click track. I just played the songs. I had been playing the songs for years by myself in my house at the time and performing them maybe 3 song sets here and there every 3 months in Los Angeles for this thing called Open Folk. And yeah, hmm, we played the song, or I played guitar first, and then I recorded the vocals on top after that. And then we went in and filled out all of the soundscapes, and he really took the lead on the feeling and like the flow of it audibly with the
Hmm.
instrumentation he had. And then he brought in another one of our collective members at the time, Wilter, who is so excellent at adding atmospheric space. He has his own project out too. It's gorgeous. And he just came in and just intuitively played over most of the songs. And then Cushy and I went in and cut up and arranged where those sounds go. So yeah, it was like this, yeah, holding space, going in, like shifting things around, placing things in. I don't know how to describe it. It's just so intuitive and holistic.
and very all consuming in 5 days. My guess is
Mhm.
you lived, breathed, slept,
Yes.
and ate that album from the beginning of the day to the end of the day when you put your head
Mhm.
on the pillow, and maybe even still waking up and jotting things down.
Yes. Yes, we barely remember how it happened, but we were so immersed. It was
That's the best
amazing.
kind of art though, when you're so in it that you can't see it until you get out of it. You're like, ah, look what I don't remember almost doing that, but
Yeah.
look what I was able to accomplish. You also have been collaborating with Josh Cramen on their latest album, Evolutions. How did
Mhm.
that partnership come about?
Yeah, that was awesome. I was playing one of those shows, Open Folk at Hotel Cafe, and this guy, Hank, came up to me after the show and he had this wet business card. He's like, I'm sorry, I would just wash these pants. This went through the dry washer and dryer, but this is the only business card I have. It was so funny. So I contacted him, like, hey, what's up? What do you do? He's a music manager, does like bookings for tours and whatnot for more established bands. And he and Josh have been long-term friends. So we got connected through him. And Josh was looking for some singers for a project. And I came and sang on a couple of his songs. And then he was like, oh, I have this song called Crush that I want to change the lyrics for. Would you want to co-write this or write this yourself? And then we can record it. And since then, it's just been a slow progression of like, oh, he's making an album. He brought in Hunter Hawkins, the other songwriter and singer, and he put together this whole album. And I'm just a part of an album now.
You're just part
It
of an album now.
was-
And what ways did he assist you with your vision? Because you did a video, you've
Mhm,
directed a video, starred
mhm.
and directed. I mean, amazing.
Thank
It's
you.
called Changes, correct? Yeah,
Change,
it's called
yeah.
Changes. Was he a hands-on collaborator with that, or like did you come to the table with an idea and he just let you run with it?
Yeah, so he was so hands off. He gave me full permission to do whatever I wanted. I gave him a rough idea at the very beginning. It was between two different songs, Hey Driver and Change. And he was like, I have an intuition about doing Change. I was like, okay, cool. Let me come up with like a rough idea for this. And I referenced a few music videos, Fever Ray, When I Grow Up, the High music video, I Want You Back, I think. So like these one location, like kind of choreographed pieces of work. And I also am a huge fan of Pina Bausch, who is a German choreographer.
Mhm.
And so I just like showed him, I'm like, I want to do something kind of like this. I don't know. I'll put the team together. I worked in film and uh, TV and everything for a long time, and he was like, great, go ahead. And then I just put the crew together and started that whole process. It was really speak about self-doubt. Like the most self-doubt I've ever felt for a project came up during that. And I actually documented the entire thing on my Patreon of like, whoa, this is what it feels like to actually like reach out to people who you've worked with before, but feel like you're a piece of crap person who doesn't believe in themselves, taking a risk, and all of those like different things where it's like, I feel like people hate me. Hey, will you help me? Of course I'll help you. Oh, I'm okay. And then taking the next step forward. So I really just went all in and all out with that video.
Was that the short film, it feels really intimate but also kind of really cinematic, directing and performing, double teaming, it adds a personal layer to the video. I felt like, was it difficult balancing those two roles in this?
Which roles, the directing and acting?
And starting, yeah, starting.
Yeah. So, ah, I think it is difficult in that I do well focusing on one thing, of course. I Although my team is so excellent at what they do that each of them, Tamara, the DP, Jane, the wardrobe stylist, and Liv, the choreographer,
With Maya.
each of them really took up space that I couldn't take up as I was, being in the video. Once I got into hair and makeup and wardrobe and we were shooting, they just filled out what needed to happen. Like a huge testament to women collaborators, like just naturally understanding how to nurture what needs to get done. So I'm grateful to them also. Like we shot it in one day and they made me feel really, really good. Like I knew what I was doing, even though I really felt like I didn't.
And if you worked with them before, you know their work ethic, and you know you can trust them. You can put that director hat down for a minute and be the star and be like, okay, they're going to catch me when I fall. They're going to bring my ideas to life because I trust them and they trust me. That's really important to talk about female solidarity and this kind of situation, because it really does come down to trust in those
Yeah.
situations. It really does. Does visual art and dance influence the way you write or perform music, or is that just like a completely separate outlet for you?
Mm. I feel like it has a lot to do with like the storytelling aspect.
Sure.
I used photography, like self-photography for years and years and years, like since my dad died back in 2012, as a means to show and tell parts of me that weren't beautiful. You know what I mean? Like grief is messy and grief is
Sure.
like all sorts of everything. And I use self-photography as kind of a therapy of like seeing where I was at with myself and photographing myself and recognizing like, whoa, when I'm in a session doing this, if I'm having a bad time, I'm making that happen. So what is it about this that I'm thinking and how can I shift that? But the space is so sacred because I get to feel and be, and then I get to observe if I want to. But having all of those parts and sides and just letting myself express, it's been a huge part of revealing myself to myself. So I feel like if I hadn't had all of that, I might not have been able to get to the words of where I'm at now and where I was writing these songs. And I want to make more videos and have a long-standing narrative just between projects, even if I'm not working with just myself. Like this concept of all these selves is really interesting to me. And I feel like I can't share enough versions of me because I want everyone to feel like it's okay for them to be human. And if I'm a thousand different people and versions of myself, like, yeah, okay, maybe who cares? You know,
Right. And
trying to
like
make it
we
not
were
a big
saying
deal.
earlier, if your art is like a mosaic and you have all these pieces, you're putting it together, as an artist, it feels like you're picking each part apart then and studying each as
Hmm.
its own mosaic a little bit.
Yeah.
I find your
Yes.
answers really introspective about who you are as a person beyond your art, and I think that showcases in your art. Getting to know who you
Mm.
are is really important. I think when audiences listen to
Yes.
your music, though, or watch your performance and changes, what do you hope they walk away with? What kind of feeling do you hope they walk away with?
Well, it's been happening, and it's been surprising in that a few people come up every show and they're like, I needed to hear that. I talk a lot between songs. I've been performing my album as a full thing because it's only 8 songs.
Oh, right.
So yeah, it's quite short and sweet, but we go everywhere. I can't wait for you to hear it. Um, but people say I needed to hear that. Thank you for being so raw and vulnerable. People say, I mean, I'm house sitting in the Bay Area right now, so there's a lot of tech folk here, and
Mhm.
they say, I could never do what you're doing, but thank you so much. I needed that. So I want people to come away with it feeling like something was touched that maybe they haven't been able to touch inside themselves yet and feel safe about it.
Yeah, it's inspiring to see someone freely take off the mask and kind of look at themselves and be like, why have I been wearing this for so long? And who is this person? It's really
Yeah.
inspiring. And I'm sure that other fans of heard your music and fans that will hear it now that the single is out and the album's coming out next month will equally appreciate honesty, which seems to be a lost art
Mhm.
these days.
It is an art, isn't it?
It is. It certainly is. So, who are some of the artists besides Josh? You dealt with Josh. Who are some of the artists you'd like to collaborate with in the future?
Ooh, that's a great question. Oh my gosh. I mean, I have a lot of friends who are artists and I want to collaborate with them.
With
There's an
all of them.
artist, yeah, yeah. There's an artist named Ruti. She's in there in London, 'cause she also produces some of their work. Their earnestness and honesty and depthfulness and their voice. They actually, I think, won The Voice in the UK years ago,
Oh, hmm.
but they're very down to earth, very just relatable, queer artist, beautiful, beautiful voice, beautiful songwriting. Would love to collaborate with them and just be associated with that type of feeling. They're in the pop world for sure. I tried singing one of their songs and like them, and it doesn't work for me, you know. So I'm trying to arrange one like me, which is interesting to find like, okay, what's me? What's my version of this? Uh, Ruti is one. I mean, Cushy as an artist would love to collaborate with him. There's a lot of artists and songwriters that I want to license their songs and sing them for myself because I know they're not going to put them out, but they're such good songs and I feel like I would do them justice. I'm not going to name everyone, but it's it's wild. I mean, of course, there's like, mm, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that because there's a lot of like really well-known people that, of course, it would be so cool to collaborate and be associated with them, but I don't know if they're actually right for me. So we'll see what happens, you know?
Yeah, it's different between being a fan of someone and their work, and being a co-worker with them and creating something together. You can
Yes.
love something outside of your own art, but then bringing it into your own art might not always fit. I totally understand that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
Well,
collaborated with quite a few songwriters and like songwriter sessions proper, and it never quite feels like me, of course, because there's other energy and other perspectives in the space. But I'm curious about what to do with that. I have so many songs like that that are done that I haven't put out. And like over the last 12 years, I've made so many songs that I'm not putting out. And maybe it has to do with like I wanted to make a mark for who I am first before I
hmm.
show what that looks like in collaboration. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's been an interesting journey.
Absolutely. Well, you have a fan base. They come and talk to you after your shows. You're going to get more fans now that the single is dropped. The album's coming out next month. What would you like to say to the people who have followed your art and your work, and they come up to you and thank you for what you've offered them?
I want to say thank you for giving me that. It's not necessary. However, performing is so vulnerable. And at the very beginning, I I actually, one of my first shows, I printed off little postcard size self-portrait prints of the album cover. This was years ago. I didn't know it was going to be my album cover, but the album cover picture, and then on the back, it had a like suggestion on what to tell me after the show. It's like, "Hi, my name is blank. I just saw you perform. You're doing a good job. Keep going." And I said, hey, I just handed this out to you guys. If you could please come up to me after the show and say these words to my face so I can burn it into my memory because I know when I get home, the negative thing is going to start pounding me and being like, that was embarrassing, Meredith. That was really, you should be ashamed of yourself. That was way too much.
That
You
self
can't,
doubt, Meredith.
yes, yes, you can't do this. This is scary. You're in danger a lot of this stuff. So I had people do that, and they did, and I burned it into my memory. And every show, haven't asked that for future shows, but every show now, I really pay attention to those people who share a bit about themselves, about how the show affected them, or what they thought of it, or anything. And I really appreciate it because it just builds into that folder of positive. Like, I'm not bad. This is fine.
You are
Um,
not bad, Meredith. I'm honestly, I am tucking your art in the back of my head, and I can't wait for the album because I really enjoyed the singles. The newest single drops today. Fans, of course, check that out. What Do I Know is out now. Check it on Spotify and your streaming apps. Thank you so much for talking with me today.
Thank you. This was lovely. I really appreciate your time and your questions.